More than 3 billion migratory birds have died since 1970, mostly due to habitat loss.
Scientists are predicting an insect apocalypse, with up to 40% of insects at risk of extinction. People don't know that species such as the Carolina chickadee need 9,000 caterpillars to raise their chicks from birth to fledging.
Meanwhile, in most communities, turfgrass has taken over American lawns and is now the default landscape for all yards. They are ultimately equivalent to a concrete pavement as they provide nothing for most birds and pollinators. 80 million pounds of pesticides are used for the maintenance of 40 million acres of U.S. lawns each year.
We first really recognized this issue when we did a project in science class that had us researching birds and their habitat loss. We realized that so many birds are dying out and many people are doing nothing or are not even aware of it. Over 100 species of birds migrate through Chicago every year. Instead of passing through our community and finding turf grass, non-native shrubs and plants, and no place for food and shelter, birds will find
an international bird hotel. We are the International Bird Hotel developers. I'm Christopher.
I'm James.
I'm Simone.
And we are going to transform this piece of land into a bird and wildlife sanctuary to inform students and the public on what changes need to be made on how we see native plants and species.
Part one of our solution is going to be building a sanctuary for these birds and wildlife so they can have a safer migration throughout their trips.
Like any good hotel, we have something for everyone. Need tall grasses and a place to eat off insects? We have prairie rooms.
Need shrubs for berries and a place to sleep? We got shrubs and woodlands.
Need a spot to sunbathe and get wet? We have rocks and dead sticks under the sun and a bird bath too.
Part two of our solution is education for the students and community. People can walk the paths and see the native plants we installed and learn about them after visiting the little library or the informational signs along the way. They can see birds at the feeders and bird bath. Butterflies and bees will be visiting the pollinator plants. All the signs will also explain why we need more hotels like this and how to make them in their own homes.
Classes for kids can also be held in the private woodland areas and will also be provided with activities to get them involved.
In September, we will host a community event to prep the site. Students will then learn about the native ecosystem and what an invasive species is, and will grow plants over the winter and take initial measurements of the number of species of plants, insects, and birds. We will then install feeders to watch, and in the spring, we will plant the seedlings that the students have grown. In the coming years, we will work with the elementary schools to have field trips to the hotel to learn about the different birds and native plants that benefit each other and then participate in community garden tours. We also hope to eventually have a summer camp.
Keeping our goals in mind, we are focusing on the amounts of native plants planted on our land and others' lawns and yards. We will keep track of how many people use our resources and share the facts and ideas we give to make a change. The more native plants planted, the less turfgrass and invasive species there will be, taking over potential habitats. We can track the species of birds and insects that pass through using our video cameras and observations through using apps like iNaturalist. We will also keep track of our community impact by how many international bird hotel signs we provide to the community.
We have met with many Brooks teachers to figure out how to get classes involved. In addition to their ideas, the art classes will make the signs, the design class will make an irrigation system for the plants, and the science classes will analyze the different bird species and see how the native plants are growing and benefiting the ecosystem, in addition to growing plants in the classroom.
Some partners we are working with to spread the word and learn more are the Field Museum, West Cook Wild Ones, University of Illinois Extension Master Gardeners and Naturalists, the Park District of Oak Park, and the Village of Oak Park. We would also like to thank OurEcho for giving us the inspiration to really follow through on this challenge.
And if people don't want to have to leave their house to watch, no problem. We have set up motion sensor cameras to watch the birds off your own device. If you want more information, you can visit our Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We also have our very own website where you can have the sources to our information and flower sellers.
We want to end with a quote from the poet Gwendolyn Brooks, who our school is named for. This quote is on the mosaic wall and it sums up our project. We are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond. We discovered during this project that we are all interconnected. The plants we choose for our yards affect the insects, which affect the birds, which affect their lives as far away as Canada and South America. People tend to paint projects like this as based off of political views, when conservation of nature isn't an issue of political left and right or a political issue at all. Conservation of nature is an issue for humanity, not something to be debated upon in a political setting.
You can do something like this in your own yard, much like Douglas Tallamy in his book, Nature's Best Hope, when he tells the story of a parent who was able to connect more with nature through the monarch butterflies that landed on his native backyard milkweed plants.
This is more than just a planting project. We are bringing everyone together and engaging the community to fix this nationwide issue. We are going to set an example for our town, and our ideas will spread throughout other towns watching and even our city.